If we could just keep him there and keep asking people to look, somebody would spot him. And in that house with the red car behind it, that's exactly what happened. A man looked out into his backyard where he had his boat, and what did he see? He saw a smear of blood on the cover of that boat, looked inside, according to authorities, and saw someone hiding there, called the police, and that is how this extraordinary manhunt ended.
The Zamnev brothers are suspected of leaving a trail of death and mystery in their wake. MIT police officer Sean Kohler said the last victim to die was fatally shot Thursday night. He was 26 years old. And of course, it all began Monday afternoon at the finish line of the Boston Marathon when two bombers ripped through a crowd of spectators, killing 3 people. Many of Watertown's residents went out of their way to show their appreciation for police and other security forces, even though the hunt for the suspect put the city on lockdown for most of Friday. Businesses and schools were closed and residents were asked to stay at home. As Tom Foreman explains, the dragnet involves millions of people, and in the U.S., it was almost unprecedented.
Zanayev, believed to be wearing the white baseball cap in the surveillance video released by the FBI, who looks even more boyish in this updated photo. Relatives who haven't been in touch with Jahar can only guess about his motives since he moved to the U.S. over a decade ago from the Russian Caucasus region and sought asylum with his family.
We're Muslims, we're Chechens, we're ethnic Chechens. Somebody radicalized them.
The suspect's uncle, who lives in Maryland, was asked by reporters what might have provoked Jahar and his now dead brother, Tamerlan.
Being losers.
But in tweets on what's believed to be Jahar's Twitter account, there is little sign of remorse. "Ain't no love in the heart of the city. Stay safe, people," read one tweet posted after the bombing. And 2 days later, "I'm a stress-free kind of guy." On what's believed to be his account on a Facebook-like Russian social media website, the suspect's worldview is described as Islam. His personal priority, career and money. A video is posted showing the carnage from the civil war in Syria. U.S. officials say Jahar became a U.S. citizen on September 11th of last year and attended high school in Cambridge, outside Boston, where he even won a scholarship before enrolling at the Dartmouth campus of the University of Massachusetts. Most friends and teachers say they never saw any signs of trouble.
Regular teenager, didn't suspect anything. He was on the wrestling team. He went to parties with, other students. Yeah, he went to the prom.
He was a wonderful kid. We were proud of him. You know, he was an outstanding athlete. There's nothing. He was never a troublemaker in the school.
But another friend says one conversation does stand out.
A friend of mine has we've been in contact this morning, and he had told me that that there was a conversation that him and another close friend of mine had just recently, maybe about 6 months to a year ago, in regards to terrorism, the acts of terror not being a serious issue if you come from a place that I come from.
Still, the suspect's father told Russian television he believes his sons were set up.
Someone framed them. I don't know who exactly did it, but someone did. And being cowards, they shot the boy dead. There are cops like this.
Former Pakistani military strongman Pervez Musharraf returned to his country has sparked a plethora of reaction from his supporters and opponents alike, moments after the Pakistani Supreme Court banned him from leaving the country. The former head of Pakistani powerful military was placed under house arrest with a threat of a court case hanging over him. CNN senior international correspondent Nick Robertson spoke with Musharraf, and he reports the once powerful military ruler does not want to go away quietly.
The police rangers, those are Musharraf's supporters. They've gone to the courthouse as well. Both sides here facing off with their own opinions. The legal battle, though, going on inside there.
Within 20 minutes, though, his first hearing on terror charges over.
The question now, has he got jail, has he got bail, or is he going back to house arrest, the so-called sub-jail scenario? Well, Musharraf's only just driven off up the road away from the courthouse, and already there's a fight breaking out between the lawyers here who are anti-Musharraf and those pro-Musharraf supporters who came outside the courthouse. Seems to be some sort of running street battle now. It all hints at divisions over Musharraf's treatment. Sympathies for him since his arrest growing, and the decision on where he goes now, house arrest. This is how far Pervez Musharraf has fallen, locked up behind razor wire at his own country farm just on the outskirts of Islamabad. And it was just a little over a week ago that I came here to visit him. Back then, the legal moves against him were already getting quite serious. It's a sprawling estate in one of Pakistan's most sought-after neighborhoods, and he's just learned that the Supreme Court is barring him from international travel. Good morning. How are you? Very good, thank you very much. Back then, he told me, he didn't expect to be arrested, but admitted he could already see lawyers gunning for him.
I think they may be scared that I may be able to bring about a change, so they want me to be restrained. And then their animosity against me also. So I need a level playing field, which frankly is being denied.
How long Musharraf will remain under house arrest is hard to calculate, but what is becoming clear is the depth of dislike many now in power feel towards the former military ruler. Nick Robertson, CNN, just outside Islamabad, Pakistan.
We now take our second break. Welcome back. 12 Formula One teams and 24 drivers are preparing to go racing again in Bahrain this weekend, but the event is playing out against the backdrop of protests and civil unrest. An ITV news crew was deported from the Gulf Kingdom, and once again political unrest threatens to overshadow the race. Details in this report.
Is gearing up for its annual Formula One race on the impressive international circuit in the middle of the desert. But not everyone supports the F1 coming to town. In this village outside the capital, Manama, protesters are calling for the event to be cancelled, saying the rulers of the tiny kingdom are guilty of human rights abuses. The media doesn't cover the demonstrations like this revolution that is part of the Arab Spring, this activist says. This is why we tell them, come over to the Formula One race and come see the women and the men marching in the streets demanding democracy for 2 years now, while the Prime Minister keeps insisting that he doesn't know if there's any demonstration in the country. There are demonstrations indeed, every day, every village demanding democracy and human rights. Clashes broke out ahead of last year's Formula One race. This year, Human Rights Watch has accused the government of a campaign of arbitrary arrests and detentions ahead of the F1 in a bid to silence the opposition. The government denies the claims and also tells CNN the race will bring benefits many Bahrainis seek. The government is pleased that the F1 will boost the economy and tourism, and it will also provide Bahrainis with more job opportunities. The CEO of Bahrain's international circuit says he believes more than 70% of the population supports the race. The head of Formula One, Bernie Ecclestone, has voiced sympathy for the protests, but the race is still scheduled to move forward. Many issues in the kingdom remain unresolved after an uprising in 2011 where the majority Shiite population demanded more rights from the rulers who belong to the minority Sunni sect. Those protests were violently crushed by Bahrain's security forces, with troops from Saudi Arabia coming into the country to support the government. In the aftermath of the protests, the government promised reforms, including a special unit set up to investigate claims of rights abuses. But critics say little has changed, so the opposition continues to battle, recently staging a drum march through villages outside the capital Manama, with a clear message to those in charge of Formula One. Don't come here under the current circumstances. Fred Pleiken, CNN, Berlin.
And before we go, a reminder of story making headlines. Canada-based Management Holding Limited has handed over to government the first sample of houses constructed for low, middle and high-income earners in the civil service. Vegetable growers in parts of rural Gambia are expected to increase production in the wake of massive support from the West Africa